Former Rikers officer gets 29 months for smuggling contraband to her blood's member boyfriend. It's a love story, kids. I always say, if you really want to help the person on the other side of that wall, the best thing you could do is not join them. Who's going to get you drugs now? Who's going to stuff a jailbroken Boost Mobile iPhone into a body cavity and get it over to you now? Nobody wins. A former Rikers Island guard's toxic love affair with an inmate will cost her nearly 2.5 years of freedom after she was caught smuggling contraband to her blood's member Bo. Mind you, she has 2 children. Crystal Burrell, 36, sneaked 2 cell phones to Teray Hines, 30, in 2021 while he was locked up on Rikers on a gun case. Then, as she was awaiting sentencing after her arrest, she found a way to smuggle even more contraband to him as a private citizen, according to federal prosecutors. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. If this guy really cared for her, which we know he didn't, but if he really cared, he wouldn't have told her to do that, smuggle contraband in the first place. But if she didn't get it the first time around, then she really should have picked up on it the second time. On Tuesday, a Brooklyn federal court judge sentenced her to 29 months behind bars. In a teary-eyed admission, Burrell apologized to U.S. District Court Judge Kiyo Matsumoto and pleaded for forgiveness. "I take full responsibility for my actions, and I recognize my behavior was harmful. I'm so sorry I became involved in this venture, and I am deeply remorseful for the choices that led me to this moment." Burrell's lawyer, Kelly Sharkey is a cool name for a lawyer, said her client was laid low by a lifetime of trauma and abuse, and when her fiancé Jalan Morera was killed in 2018, she reached a breaking point. For people who deal in crime, manipulation is just another tool in the box. Through everyday interactions, they can tell by the way you talk, by the way you carry yourself, that you might not be 100% confident, that your mental defenses might be down, and they easily see that as a way in to work on you. Hines preyed on her, groomed her, and kept her under his thumb. Sharkey said there were conversations about how difficult life was. There were multiple phone calls. The defense lawyer said he told her she was pretty. He told her he loved her. He also beat her, punched her, knocked her out. Whoa! She didn't have the ability to break free from Hines. She also found herself working in the same building as her fiance's killer, despite her request for a transfer, Burrell told the judge. It makes me ask the question, where were the other guards? Did none of her other colleagues, the people that she was working with, notice that she might have been in a situation with another inmate, that she might have been possibly getting abused by another inmate? Because let's be honest with each other, she was not fit for that job. She might have been fit when they first hired her, but with whatever took place later on down the line, she was not right for that gig. Matsumoto says she considered Burrell's very significant history of trauma, her need for mental health treatment, and the fact she has 2 young children ages 6 and 7. She was not supposed to be working there, or at the very least, she is supposed to have some type of leave. I believe that those factors are outweighed by the seriousness of the offense, the judge said. Burrell was a 6-year veteran. 6 years? This sounded like some rookie that got sweet talked by a thug of the city correction department when she slipped them the cell phones in 2021. She also helped Hines sell contraband to other inmates, taking money on his behalf and accepting $9,780 in bribes. They shared "I love yous." Isn't that heartwarming? Just all over the Get Indicted hotline and phone conversations, and talked explicitly about their sexual encounters, according to court filings by prosecutors. And when she was interviewed by investigators that July, she lied about her activities, claiming she only smuggled a phone because she was threatened. It sure seems that she thought they were in a relationship together, but for him, he was just using her to make moves that he couldn't make himself. And as far as sex, yeah, sure, why not? That's just a victory lap on top of what he was already getting done. Burrell was arrested in April 2022 and took a plea deal that September, but the relationship with Hines continued. You know what, sis? Have at it. Do what you want to do, since you won't listen to reason. Even after he was moved to the Federal Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn in November 2022, a cell phone found in Hines' cell revealed a lengthy text message back and forth between a couple about bringing an MDC guard $5,000 to smuggle in pot, smokes, and alcohol. A search found days of WhatsApp messages between Burrell and Hines, including discussions about an illegal car rental business they ran together and a plot to smuggle contraband into the MDC. You know what? If you're this guy guy, you gotta be thinking, if she hasn't left me yet, if she hasn't smartened up yet, why not up the ante? I'm surprised he didn't ask her to break him out. Love is blind, and it'll take over your mind. As part of the plot, Burrell dropped off money and marijuana to an address Hines gave her last November, then got a text message from him that said, "Touchdown, babe," confirming the goods made it to the MDC. What you think is love is truly not. In another scheme, in July 2022, before her initial guilty plea, Burrell and an unidentified man went to one of Hines' court appearances for a gun case on the 15th floor of the Manhattan Supreme Court building. The man accompanying Burrell made several trips to the bathroom, and Hines tried unsuccessfully to convince law enforcement officials to let him use the toilet. Investigators searched the bathroom and found 3 balloons full of marijuana in a stall. How was showing her face at his court appearance supposed to help her pending trial anymore? And that's what I don't understand. Why was she throwing away what she already had for someone who threw away what they had a long time ago? Hines, who was sentenced to 3 years in prison for the gun charge that put him in Rikers to begin with, still faces sentencing in federal court for the contraband plot.